PAX 8 Beyond 2026. What an incredible event. Incredible. I believe it's PAX 8's finest. Was there in Salt Lake City, and it was run incredibly well. The keynotes were really, really incredible. Great messaging, great new announcements. The way they handled the media. We had a whole podcasting row and treated us really, really well. Well attended. Thousands of MSPs, thousands of attendees that were just, ready to learn, ready to share, ready to be part of this community. Really great event. They're in Salt Lake City, an unusual location in that I've never been to an event there before, but Salt Lake City did a really good job of hosting it. Beautiful there in the mountains, and absolutely the weather was incredible, although we didn't spend much time outside. But Podcast Row was set up incredibly well too by PAX 8 leadership. Had 15 great conversations. First was with Brent Whitfield from New Charter, of course, from Garage Startup to 8-figure exit lessons for MSP leaders. Great conversation with Brett, great insight. Next was my friend Rob Scott from Monjura, of course. Why AI can't replace human expertise in high stakes decisions. Great conversation with Rob. Rob, so well-rounded. Really enjoyed. It's my second time talking with him on the podcast. Dave Meister from Checkpoint, from Tech Apprentice to Global Cybersecurity Leader. Great conversation with Dave. Really, really cool insight. First time meeting Dave. Oh, and then Kim Simmons. My goodness. Second year talking to her at PAX 8. I'm a big fan of her and her Cloud Contracts 365. How growth mindset and AI are reshaping business success. Wonderful to see Kim. Next, Dan Daniele from CrowdStrike. Had the pleasure of knowing Dan for many years. How AI is changing cybersecurity faster than most businesses realize. Really great conversation with Dan. Always enjoy his time. Ryan Seguin. First time I met Ryan from ScalePad. Really great conversation, really open. Why your best growth opportunity is already in front of you. From PAX 8, next was Ola Wodakowicz. Sorry, Ola, if I mispronounced that. From burnout to balance in a hyper-connected world. First time meeting Ola. Really great conversation. Enjoyed it. Gagan Singh, of course, from Blackpoint, CEO there. The AI revolution, opportunity, risk, and the future of humanity. Great talk with Gagan. I've had the pleasure of talking to him before, not on the podcast, but really, really smart, really insightful. Daniel De La Garza from Kipling Secure. Great conversation with Daniel. There, we're doing a lot of work with Kipling. It was a really great conversation. Thank you, Daniel. Next was Jason Myers from Open Text. AI is powerful, but not as smart as you think. Great conversation with Jason. Joe Levy was next from Sophos. Had so much in common with Joe. We're both from the Northeast, and we were doing very similar things with computing in the 90s, and really great insight from Joe. Thank you very much. Luisa Balanuch. I think I mispronounced that, Luisa. But incredible conversation with Lisa. She's doing great thing with offshore and nearshore hiring, helping MSPs do that. FlexPoint is the name of the company. Ryan Walsh from PAX 8. My friend Ryan, is the second year we've talked on the podcast. Great insight. Time goes by so quickly. Thank you very much, Ryan. Brian O'Shaughnessy, one of my good friends for 15 years, has an MSP, recently merged with a friend, Rob Bruce, who I also talked to. From startup panic to lasting success. Great talking with Brian, great insight. Jessica Davis. My goodness, Jessica, we've known each other for a little while. Great to have you on the podcast. And last was Rob Bruce, the two leadership partners at SkyTide, from Africa to MSP business. Excellent guest. I thank all of you for taking the time to spend with me there at Beyond. And thank you for watching and for listening. Hi, I'm Joey Pinz, and here's my 45-second introduction. After starting my business in the 90s, I started developing poor habits of eating in my diet because of working way too much. Before you know it, I found myself 340 pounds. The doctor told me if I don't lose the weight, I'm not going to see my daughter graduate. Took the next 7 months, lost 130 pounds. People think there's some secret. Ask me, how'd you lose that weight? Like there's some secret. There is no secret. How'd I lose the weight? Just one word, discipline. I've had other successes in life, and I attribute them all to discipline. Now, I'm not the king of discipline, but I believe that it can help all of us. Friends, colleagues convinced me to start a podcast. The podcast mission? How do we better ourselves and society? I talk to interesting people in health, fitness, sport, wellness, business, technology, science, art, and culture. And I eventually ask them how discipline plays a role in their life. Podcast vision, growth through learning from others. Why 12 miles?
I walk at about 2.5 miles an hour, and that's about how many miles I get in the course of a day.
Were you told to start walking?
No, I just couldn't stand sitting. Like after COVID hit and we went to a work from home, and I found myself sitting for hours at a time. The first thing I did is I got a standing desk. All right. Is that right?
Better.
All right. First thing I did is I got myself a standing desk.
I can't do it.
And I couldn't either because my back hurt while I was standing. And I said, well, maybe if I got a treadmill and I was walking, because I like walking. So I got a treadmill, and it became perfectly normal. That was like 7 years ago. And I'm averaging about 12 miles a day on the thing. I'm on my third treadmill.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
In this fast-paced MSP landscape, how do you stay ahead? Introducing MSPinfluencer.com, your ultimate hub for MSP news, insights, and community connection, powered by Forza Dash. More than 75,000 MSPs subscribe to our MSP Influencer Pulse weekly newsletter, staying informed and ahead of industry trends. Tune in to emerging podcasts from Joey Pinz and leading MSP voices, offering essential tips, powerful insights, and success stories. Explore our multi-authored blogs, crafted specifically for MSP leaders, delivering fresh perspectives and actionable strategies. Celebrate excellence with the industry-leading Forza MSP Influencer Awards, recognizing innovation, leadership, and impact in the MSP community. Join thousands of MSP professionals who trust MSPinfluencer.com to grow their business and expand their networks. MSPinfluencer.com, where today's MSP leaders connect, collaborate, and conquer, all powered by the Forza platform, helping MSP vendors work effectively with MSPs and helping MSPs grow. The treadmill isn't under the desk.
It is under the desk. It's an under the desk treadmill.
But how do you type when you're walking?
You get used to it. I can type, I can write, I can drink coffee. Yeah. You just,
Teams meetings, whatever, their meetings?
Yeah, all my meetings,
You're
I'm
just
walking on
walking.
the treadmill. Yeah. And people get used to it. Like originally I would make them seasick because I was kind of bouncing
You're
up
bobbing
and down
a bit, yeah. Do you perspire?
No. My office is in the basement, and so it was 65 degrees down there.
Very cool. Did you have a health scare?
I had back surgery. Yeah.
And why did you have back surgery?
Herniated L3.
Doing what?
Exercising.
Yeah, something strenuous?
I was doing squats with 30-pound dumbbells on a balance ball.
Squats on a balance ball with 30-pound dumbbells.
Yes.
Now, why would you do something like that? Why not do squats without the ball?
It started with squats, and then you
Okay.
add dumbbells, and then you add balance to it, and you.
Underwater. What's next?
Next is a herniated L3. So then you go, oh, maybe I should back off a little bit now.
I say.
Yeah.
Tell me about life before the age of 18, your formative years, Joe. What were you like? What were your passions?
I grew up in Queens, New York.
Yeah, went to Queens College. I saw that.
Yeah, I went to Queens College.
You lost the accent.
That's right, I did.
Yeah.
Comes back after I've had a few drinks.
I hear that. My parents met in Flushing.
Really? Yeah. So I lived in Flushing, 165th Street and 65th Avenue.
College Point, they were in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was maybe 10 minutes from where I was. Yeah.
Near Shea?
I could walk to Shea.
Wow.
Yeah. My elementary school was about 10-minute walk to Shea.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So you probably went to a lot of U.S. Opens?
One U.S. Open. Yep.
Because otherwise, just tourists in there clogging up everything, right? Yeah.
Well, back then it was a little bit different.
Right.
Back then, New York was not very tourist friendly. Like in the 70s and 80s, that was
70s and
before it
80s.
got cleaned up.
Right. Yeah, I try to paint a picture of I'm from New Haven. So, in the 80s, we'd go to Times Square and there's just, prostitutes, there's like the shell games and porn. And
That was it.
And now it's Disney.
That's right.
And now it's Central Park, women with carriages and their babies. When it got just a little bit dusk, we didn't go near.
That's right. Yeah.
Central Park. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very different now.
Oh,
like
yeah.
the Giuliani kind of put a lot
That's
of
exactly
police.
right.
Yeah.
Before he lost his mind.
Before he lost his mind. And Dinkins was before him.
That's right.
Yeah. But it was who was the mayor in between? Koch.
I grew up with Koch.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I remember his best quote was, what did he say? If you agree with 60% of my policies, vote for me. If you agree with 100%, go see a psychiatrist.
That's not bad.
But you could see that's just something he would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And where did you fit on that spectrum?
I was too young at the time to fit
Formative.
anywhere on
Right.
any kind of a political spectrum.
Right.
But in hindsight, I found my location on the spectrum. And I'm not going to disclose what it is.
I see. Is he still with us?
I don't think he's alive anymore.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah. Entertaining nonetheless.
He really was.
So growing up in Queens, so certain things happen when you're New York City, and you went to Queens College, right? I mean, you're used to the subway. Did you get a driver's license?
I got my driver's license in Utah.
When you came here.
Yeah, when I was 17 years old, I followed a girl out here, and that's how I ended up in Utah.
I see. That'll do
and
it.
I got my driver's license here. And then I ended up driving back to New York just to finish college at Queens College, and then I came back to Utah.
You came back,
Yep.
yeah. What was your degree in Queens College?
I started as a CS major, as you might
Computer
expect.
science,
Yeah.
yes.
And then I switched to English and business.
English and business. And why did you get out of CS?
It's a long story.
Was the technology? So we were around the same age. I'm 57. I'll be 58 soon.
I'm 55. Yeah.
Okay, so there wasn't much.
There was not.
Yeah.
We were learning Pascal, and everything was being done on a mainframe. And I had been coding since I was about 13, so there really wasn't very much that.
What were you coding in at 13 at that age?
I originally started writing video games and art programs, like for drawing and creating like digital imagery, and then I started cracking copy protection on software. Ran a very large pirate BBS when I was a teenager.
What was it? I bet you I connected to it. What was it called? Can we say? Is the statute of limitations gone?
Yeah, it is.
Was it a 516 number? That's Long Island.
I was 718.
718. Yeah, there's plenty of 718s. I guarantee you, and being in New Haven, that I had one too. By the way, it was called Heroes Hideaway, a BBS.
Heroes Hideaway.
Yeah, I made a game called Quest.
Okay.
And you cracked the code. I never did any cracking though.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
Software was expensive.
It was.
Yeah.
Print shop and these kinds of things.
Yep.
And you went in and cracked it. You must have done that with assembler.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's the only way you could do it back then.
Yep. Yeah.
And how did you find that? Must have been cool.
How did I find it?
Yeah, how did you crack these things?
Well, originally I had the old 8-bit Atari.
Yes, me
if you
too.
remember those.
Yes.
Okay.
26 was the 400. There was a 400, there was 600, and there was an 800.
That's right. Yeah. And I wrote a letter to Atari.
Yeah.
And I said, I've got an Atari 800. I would like to learn how to program. Could you send me some manuals on how to do this?
Smart.
And they sent me a stack of programmer manuals, and I learned to program that way. Yeah, and then back then, like, you couldn't use the internet.
No.
You couldn't just like look up YouTube videos on this stuff. You had to go to the library, and you had to like either take out books or buy books.
Yeah. By the way, for those that cracked means it had a code in there. You had to buy it. When you crack it, you release that, so we could just pass it along to everybody.
That's right.
Yeah. In college, I had an Atari ST.
Yep.
I was the only person in the entire dorm, and all the Long Island kids wanted to call their sweethearts back home, and long distance was expensive, so I had a modem. So I just created a little piece of software that kind of hacked out some codes, and it was like a drug deal. In the morning, they were lining up at my door. You got any codes? And I would, the limitations is gone.
Long distance
long
freaking.
distance number, yeah.
Like MCI
and those kinds of things. So I say
yeah.
$50. I don't know how much is left on it, but the printer would have 6 or 7 every morning, and I'd rip them up and I'd pass them out.
Yep, did that too.
Yeah, of course you did.
Yeah.
Of course you did. Yeah. We all had those Hayes modems back then, right? Yeah, what an exciting time.
Really was.
Things have changed a little bit.
Not much.
Yeah. So what was your passions back then? Programming? Did you do anything else?
In
New York City.
I went to yeshiva my whole life.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so I was actually quite passionate about Talmudic study as a kid also.
Whoa.
And then decided to take my life in a different direction.
What happened? What was the transition there?
Went through a period of rebellious agnosticism, I guess you could call it. And it wasn't until much later in life that I reconciled.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. It'll happen in our youth.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, certain things spark us, and we only see one way, and yeah, very interesting. CEO of Sophos. We're here at the big PAX 8 Beyond event. Yep. What are some of your goals this week? I know you're only here for a day, I think, Joe.
I'll be back tomorrow.
Oh, good.
And I'm local, so it's easy for me to get here.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I try not to miss PAX 8 events. PAX 8 is one of our most important MSP distributor partners. Many of our partners are here. I've probably bumped into 15 of them already just walking through the halls today. And that's primarily why it's so valuable for me and for us to be here. It's so that we can spend time with our partners and understand what's working, what their needs are, what we can do better for them.
Why should an MSP partner with Sophos?
Because we probably provide the most comprehensive set of cybersecurity solutions in a single management platform. So technologically, I think we probably do a better job than any other single cybersecurity vendor can do in terms of comprehensiveness. And then on the profitability side of things, we're also really good to partner with. Our programs are very, very highly optimized for MSPs to be successful with us. So yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons why they would want to partner with us.
So when MSPs are choosing a cybersecurity partner, what questions should they be asking?
First of all, what does the portfolio look like? Like how much of a cybersecurity solution am I going to be able to provide to my customers in partnership with this vendor? Or am I going to need to bring in 3 or 5 or 10 different vendors to do that? So comprehensiveness is one of them. Now, just having a whole bunch of solutions that you've patchworked together, but each having a discrete kind of management interface, that really isn't very efficient. So you want to make sure that when there are multiple solutions in a platform, that they're actually intelligently put together and that you've got platform integration and that you get efficiencies of operation when you're working with that vendor's platform. I think we check both of those boxes really, really well. And then cybersecurity in particular, you just want to look at the competency or the bona fides of the vendor. How many customers are they protecting? How big is their threat intelligence operation? How big is their MDR operation? Have they actually demonstrated scale? Can they scale globally? Can they scale across verticals? Can they scale across segments? Do they have local language support if I want to be able to support customers internationally? So depending on the size of the MSP, some very basic questions that I think they should be asking. And then as they grow, and some of the success that we're seeing with some of our partners here, like Nexus, for example, they're growing really, really quickly. And international expansion is not out of the question, and just making sure that vendors can accommodate that sort of success, I think that's important in the selection too.
What do you like working about? What do you like most about working with the MSP community?
The MSPs are probably the best partners that we work with. Number one, because they're very entrepreneurial, but number two, because they're also really hands-on. They actually roll up their sleeves, they get their hands dirty, they're in there working with the customers, and it's that kind of engagement, I think, that differentiates them from just a legacy reseller.
What was your first experience with MSPs?
I worked at an MSP years ago when I first started my career here in Utah. So in the mid-'90s, I worked with a company called Network Computer Systems. This is going way, way back. We were Novell, Platinum. I was a dual master CNE, manually rebuilding corrupted Flame databases on group-wise installations, configuring Cisco routers, setting up CSU, DSUs.
Wow.
So I did that for about 7 years, running the professional services organization in that business. And we grew quite large. And when I drive around Salt Lake Valley here with my wife or my daughter, I'll say, I set up that network. I did the cabling in that building. I did all the punch downs in that building there. Yeah, so this is going back almost 30 years now, but that was how I started in the industry.
And why did you exit the MSP?
I was doing one job for a company. The company still exists, I believe, but probably won't disclose the name.
Okay.
And they were setting up an Oracle database, and I was doing the entire Oracle backend installation configuration for them, and they were growing very, very rapidly. They had a COO who was working for them at the time, and he said that he had just got invited by an old friend of his to go be the COO at another startup. And this other startup here in Utah, they were building layer 4 load balancers and SSL accelerators. And he said, would you want to come work for this really cool startup? They're building some really cool tech and you can help us build it. And I said, yeah, sure, why not? It just felt like a time.
What if discipline wasn't about punishment, but about unlocking your best self? I spent 2.5 years writing Discipline for Greatness because discipline changed my life. And I know it can change yours too. This isn't theory. Inside, you'll find real, practical steps you can use immediately to focus better, build stronger habits, reduce stress, accomplish your goals, and bring more balance to your life. Whether you're trying to get healthier, improve your career, or simply feel more control, this book gives you the framework. Start today. Grab your copy of Discipline for Greatness at joeypinz.com/book. Thank you.
For a career change for me.
And how many years were you at that firm?
I was at that firm for less than a year, and then it got acquired by SonicWall.
Wow.
And that's how I ended up at SonicWall. A variety of engineering leadership positions over there.
Yes.
Eventually the CTO. And then I decided to leave SonicWall, do a startup here in Utah called Solera Networks. Ran that. We were in the security analytics space. It was some very, very cool tech, still cool today. And that company got acquired by Blue Coat.
Wow.
I stayed at Blue Coat for a couple of years, and then I got a call from the folks at Sophos and said, hey, we're looking for a new CTO. You want to come talk to us? And I knew quite a few people at Sophos at the time, and I said, sure, I'll come chat with you. And came here in 2015, been here ever since. 11
and a half years, yeah. And the transition from CTO to CEO?
Yeah, that happened a little over 2 years ago. Had the opportunity to step into the CEO role. Hadn't really had career ambitions to become a CEO.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where when the opportunity presents itself, you will regret not having taken it.
Right.
And it was probably the best decision I've ever made because I've never had more fun in my entire life than I'm having right now. Yeah.
But it's a big shift because now it's, you're in charge of all the technology, but now the CEO's in charge of all the C's, and it's very kind of different discipline there. You shifted with no problem.
It was very different. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Like the biggest challenge, I would say, was just letting go of the things I used to do. Like, so accustomed to being a CTO for over 20 years and just being deep in the technology and deep in the products, but being able to trust your team, not getting in their business, demonstrating to them that they got the ball, and just resisting reverting back to old habits and muscle memory, and then focusing on the things that the CEO should be focusing on, like optimizing the rest of the business, not just the product portfolio and the technology.
Everything. Joe, is there a question you wish more people asked you?
That is a question I've never been asked. So I'm going to add that to my roster of questions that I wish more people would ask me. And maybe next time I'll come equipped with an answer to that one, because right now I have no answer.
So let's go back 10 years. About 10 years ago, is there something firmly you believed then that you no longer believe now?
There's going to be a long, awkward silence while I think of an answer to this one.
I love it. Let it breathe.
Okay.
There's no wrong answer.
I used to believe that the best products will prevail in the market, irrespective of any asymmetries that might exist operationally within a company. That was a fallacy.
And now you realize you need marketing, you need sales.
I realized that you must maintain a symmetry in the operations of a business.
Interesting. Symmetry meaning
if you let
equal on.
If you let the technology get ahead of the go-to-market, you're never going to be able to sell the product.
Wow.
If you let the go-to-market get ahead of the technology, you'll succeed in selling it, but not in renewing it. You have to be able to maintain that symmetry.
What are some common mistakes CEOs make, you feel, that you've seen?
You mean like on any given day?
Yeah. What's some mistakes perhaps you made in the beginning of your transition that you don't do anymore?
The first learning for me was the right calibration in board communication.
In board communication?
Yeah.
Because you're still managing up and managing down.
Exactly. Yeah. Like the level of detail that the board is interested in was not something that I was calibrated to.
Interesting.
I had to calibrate over time. And we had gone through some changes to the composition of our board, and different board chairs will have different styles, different appetites for information, and just being able to understand what the expectation is. If you're dealing with different kind of investor structures, like it's different whether you're a public company, a venture-backed company, private equity company, different set of expectations about what is going to be communicated in board meetings. Takes a little bit of learning, so that was probably the first set of learning that I had to get through initially. And then probably the second thing is just understanding the emotional intensity of the job. Greater emotional intensity than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think anybody gives the founders of Google enough credit. At a particular time, they said, we got to hire somebody. They stepped back.
Yep.
You know, all these other tech companies kept their same kind of CEO, but they kind of, I don't know, it's just because you can develop those skills, and it's certain skills that CEOs need to have. It's a very different discipline, isn't it?
It's true. But there's translation, of course. Like just because somebody came from a finance background doesn't mean that they can't understand technology.
That's right.
If you come from technology, it doesn't mean that you can't understand go-to-market. So there is no exclusivity coming from one discipline and moving to another. I think a lot of it has to do with curiosity, capacity for learning, just elasticity. I was 53 years old when I stepped into the CEO role, and at that stage in my career, at that stage in my life, I really hadn't expected that I was going to be learning a new job.
Wow.
And I was like a kid in a candy store.
Really?
Like it was just the most exciting experience for me. I think a lot of it comes down to that attitude.
Started my MSP in the 90s, right? Shortly after I was doing all that stuff we talked about. It wasn't called an MSP back there. It was just computer. I was writing some code, and then I was supporting networks, and it eventually turned into an MSP. Was working way too hard, not paying attention to myself. We talked about your walking and the exercise and putting my diet, not playing more soccer, Joe. It's terrible. I get in front of the doctor. She tells me I'm at 340 pounds.
You were?
Yeah. I knew I was getting big, but I didn't think I was a 47-inch waist. She says to me, if you don't lose this weight, you're not going to see your daughter graduate. My daughter was just born, scared the life out of me. Mad at myself. This is my pie hole. I can abuse myself all I want, but it's bigger than me now. Next 6-7 months, lost about 120 pounds. Can't look at it as a finishing line.
Yeah.
Lifelong changes you have to make. When I tell people this, I say, what's your secret? What'd you do? I just say discipline. Focus, motivation, routine. How does discipline play a role in your life, Joe?
That's it. It's one word, and it means so much.
Really?
And it makes the difference between success and failure in just about any endeavor. You have to be able to self-regulate, and that first and foremost means self-regulating your emotions. Second, self-regulating your habits, and whether it's in your personal life, whether it's your nutrition and your exercise regimen, or whether it's the way that you're operating within a business or the way that you're running a business, it all comes down to discipline.
Wow. And as a kid, You're studying. Was discipline talked about? Was it exemplified in the household?
It was, yeah. My parents always set a very good example when it came to academics. I was a poorly behaved, strong academic performer. So my school record wasn't straight A's, but it was close.
I see.
And yeah, I think a lot of this does come down to what kind of example are parents setting in the household. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because I've got a 12-year-old daughter right now.
Yes, you do, yeah.
And she is a straight A student, I'm happy to report. But she doesn't take much coaxing or prodding. Like, she does that all on her own. Her favorite thing to do is reading. So, like, if your kid is going to have a hobby that they love, there are worse hobbies that they can have than that. But one of the things that we did, and my wife and I agreed on this early on, was that we were not going to allow our daughter to have access to a smartphone or have access to the internet without supervision. So she's one of the only people in her peer group now who doesn't have a smartphone, doesn't have unfettered access to the internet, and I think it's benefited her greatly. And I wish more parents would look into that as practice.
Interesting, yes. Yeah, I wish they would too. I wonder how things would be different, yeah. So what can MSPs expect from Sophos in the future, coming up?
So we've got a number of really exciting announcements coming through the course of the remainder of this year. We recently made an announcement about the availability of a partnership with Rubrik on BCDR, business continuity and disaster recovery, where we're partnering with Rubrik for a managed service that will back up an M365 environment for Microsoft customers. That's available now. The next big announcement is our CISO Advantage offering. This is something that we've been talking about for a little while now. There's, not to put it too dramatically, there is a 40-year-old market failure in cybersecurity where every single year we sell more products and more services, and yet outcomes don't seem to get any better. So we looked into this, and we found a very interesting statistic in partnership with Cybersecurity Ventures. There are approximately 359 million organizations in operation in the world today, and only about 35,000 CISOs who are helping to protect those organizations. Wow. So fewer than 1 in 10,000 organizations have access to cybersecurity leadership. And this is where I think the gap exists. There's a cybersecurity skills gap, but I think it's greater in the leadership ranks than it is in the people who are running a security operation. They basically have no North Star. They have no strategy. They have no way of measuring whether they're better off today than they were yesterday and where they want to be tomorrow. And I think that this is the market failure. The cybersecurity industry has managed to make it to this point without ever addressing that problem. The reason we haven't addressed the problem is because it hasn't been possible up until now. But now, through partnerships with MSPs, we have 7,000 MSPs that we work with globally, and the capabilities that we're building around agentic AI, I now firmly believe that it's going to be possible for us to solve this and to offer this kind of cybersecurity leadership to the hundreds of millions of organizations who previously couldn't have even dreamed about having access to it.
It's exciting, Joe.
It really is. Yeah, I think this is going to be maybe the biggest thing that's ever happened to the cybersecurity industry.
Is there something in the last month or so you changed your mind on?
No.
Do you find yourself changing your mind?
I do. Not.
Want to show your love for discipline, inspiration, and the Joey Pinz podcast? Now's your chance. Introducing the brand new Joey Pinz merch store, where style meets discipline. Choose from premium apparel, cozy hoodies, stylish hats, durable bags, and your new favorite coffee mug, all featuring the iconic Joey Pinz logo. Perfect for podcast fans, discipline enthusiasts, or as unique gifts for friends and family. Every purchase supports the Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations podcast, helping us continue to inspire greatness and promote positive change. Visit joeypinz.com/store today and wear your discipline proudly. Joey Pinz merch. Wear it, share it, and live it.
Frequently.
Why?
When presented with evidence, I will change my mind.
So you're open to it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think you have to be. Anyone who holds inviolable ideas in their head, they generally don't get far in life.
You're right.
So
Unless they're a politician.
Uh,
It's a little joke.
It depends on
Of
who's
course
writing
it
the
does.
check,
Of
doesn't
course,
it?
yes. Yeah. Yeah. But do you find yourself finding more evidence and then slowly drifting and changing? Because as a CEO, you're being presented all the time with evidence, correct?
Yeah. Well, there's one thing about changing your ideas about market trends, for example,
Right.
and about technologies and demand, and the whole concept of skating where the puck is going, and maybe you're revising where you believe the puck is going to be in 2 years from now. There have not been a lot of changes outside of the influence of AI within the industry over the past 5 years, I would say. But it's been pretty radical what AI has done and the rethink that it's caused about the industry. So within the sphere of business, within the sphere of public markets and the economy and things like Mythos and the SaaS apocalypse and that kind of thing, there's a lot of new information that operators and investors are dealing with today. So I think there is a rethink that's going on. But I also think that there is a settling that's happening right now. Like if you just look at what's going on with software company valuations in the public markets, we're probably back to where we were before the SaaS apocalypse, where we're at the same level or maybe even higher in some cases. So I think that was an example of a market overreaction. And now we're just getting back to fundamentals. And like, is this a fundamentally well-run, valuable business? Does it have a moat? Are customers sticky? Are they successful in new logo acquisition and in renewals? And if the answer is yes, it's probably a good, durable business.
Great time to be alive, Joe. It's very exciting. It's great meeting you.
Great
People
meeting you
watching
too.
or listening, how can they get in touch with you?
I'm pretty easy to reach. Just look me up on LinkedIn. I'm Joe Levy at Sophos. And if you want to email me, I'm just joe@sophos.com.
Very cool, Joe. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Great to meet you, Joe.
Great pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening and or viewing Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations. Please share this episode with one or two of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypinz.com. There you'll find lots of resources and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information, the video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe. Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations.